Good evening. I'm coming to you this evening to offer you my reflections on President Biden's first State of the Union address. And I offer you these reflections as a man who has spent the bulk of his life in service to our incredible United States of America. I love this place. I would do anything to defend her, to include offer my life, as so many of my friends have done. And I will not be bashful in saying it does break a piece of me when a piece of our country is broken. Now, President Biden, I believe, said it correctly, that the issues facing us, they do cross party lines. National security, border security, the security of our economy, inflation, support for law enforcement, supporting American companies. But the president's words were hollow because his actions do not reflect a man who cares to solve these problems on behalf of Americans. His actions are not of a man who is interested in American energy that can lessen the burden of people in our community, like somebody in Stewart, a friend of mine, David, who moves flowers across the country, or relieving the American farmers who are suffering, like Bedner Farms, who are crushed by Mexican crop dumping that brings with it drugs as plentiful as those who are crossing the border illegally. I don't believe that I'm going to wake up tomorrow with an increased opportunity for prosperity as an American because of his policies. And the Ukrainian people, they're not going to wake up with the increased likelihood of prosperity because they're not seeing the kind of support that would allow them to wake up with that confidence. President Biden, he spoke a great deal about spending without taking notice to the fact that our people cannot survive an increased tax burden on top of the incredible tax of inflation. And while he talked about lowering the deficit, he did not discuss the prospect that he will request our debt limit be raised numerous times in the years to come in the face of increased interest on our national debt and increased spending. He spoke unapologetically about voting rights bills that do not protect the vote with a signature, but rather endanger the integrity of voting. I appreciate his commitment to tackle the health effects that war has on the body of the soldier. But in doing so, he offered no somber apology for leaving Americans in a place where we conducted 20 years of war. No apology for a withdrawal from Afghanistan that left America unsteady and our allies uncertain of our commitment to be an ally. No remorse for the 13 killed defending political goals of leaving Afghanistan. He offered no counterpoint to those like Vladimir Putin, who watched him get run out of Afghanistan, run out of our embassy and out of our airfields by a group of ragtag terrorists. He drew no red line, showed no strength as the Russian military commits war crimes and lays siege to the Ukraine. And we face the likelihood that tens of thousands of Ukrainians be indiscriminately killed, but we are unwilling to lift a finger unless one citizen of a NATO country has a single hair on their head harmed after promising back in 1994 that we would defend the Ukraine if they surrendered their nuclear weapons. His words are hollow because he has no love for the freedoms that were meant for us by our nation's founders. He doubled down on the idea that government should have control over whether we wear a mask or whether we get a vaccine, or control the way that we defend ourselves and the weapons that we see fit to defend ourselves with. His words are hollow because his actions do not reflect a leader that understands our government is beholden to the people alone. Washington has likened itself in this last year in the most elitist self-gratifying light that I have ever seen. But that ideology that allows politicians in Washington to believe that they are elite really proves that they are anything but elite or enlightened. And I resent the specter that we are so foolish as to believe his words that are not backed at all by the actions of his administration. I fight for a different America than is fought for by this president. I fight for an America that each day that I wake up getting to decide for myself that today is better than yesterday. Or it's not, but I get to decide. It doesn't matter if yesterday I lost 2 legs and a finger, or lost a job, or lost a friend. We need an America that guarantees the opportunity to succeed above all by being out of the way of the American people and supporting free will. I want to thank you all for fighting for a better state of our nation, a better state of our union. And for my part, I commit as your representative that I will continue each and every day to fight as though the battle for freedom, for our individual freedoms, would be decided by my actions alone. That is the way that I promise to fight for you. May God bless you, and may God bless our United States of America.